Hey everyone, Sumo Spiffy here. We're going to do a Banzuke prediction for the Natsu 2022 Basho. I should probably put that in the title of the spreadsheet. What I'd like to do in the future is have some kind of nice graphics, maybe play with, if not Photoshop, something like that. But I'm on the road right now. I don't have access to anything like that, and I don't have time to find an alternative or put that kind of stuff together. So we're just playing with a spreadsheet. What's the point of this? Honestly, there isn't a huge point except to see if I can get this right. I like games, I like sports, but more than that, I like the systems on which they exist. I want to see if I can figure out, to some extent, the system that runs the decisions of how the Banzuke is laid out. This is probably going to go very poorly on a first go. I think I have kind of an idea of how this works. As you can see, I have some Sumo database tabs up, because I've been looking up some stuff, seeing what the odds are of certain wrestlers going, do they go up 5 ranks, do they go down 7 ranks, whatever. But what's probably going to happen is this is going to be way off, and then future ones will get closer and closer, and then I might actually be decent at this. Currently, it's the Saturday before the Banzuke should come out at Eastern American time. I didn't think anyone else did this. Then I found some sumo video maker named Leo who does it apparently on Sunday. So I'm doing it now because then I can't see his, and I'm not worried about him seeing mine because he doesn't know I exist. So with no further ado, let's get started. What I think they do is start at the top because that's easiest. Obviously, Terunofuji is going to be at Yokozuna East because he's not moving until and unless somebody else hits Yokozuna while he's there. Then he might go to West. The Ozeki are going to go in order of their records from the last Basho, but there are no new Ozeki, and remarkably, nobody got demoted. So that's going to go Mitakeumi at Ozeki 1 East, Shodai at 1 West, and Takakeisho at 2 West. Whoops. At 2 West, as I understand it, because that helps balance out the top of the Banzuke. We've got 2 on East and 2 on West in those upper ranks. Obviously, the Sekiwake are going to stay the same. Wakataka Kage is still working on his Ozeki run. What did I just do? He's still working on his Ozeki run. And Abi got his Kachikoshi, so they're going to stay where they are. Takanosho is going to drop. Hoshoryu is going to take his spot at Komusubi 1 East. Daisho from Magashira 1 East with the Kachikoshi will move to Komusubi 1 West. These are all pretty much set in stone. We're going to bold those as givens, right? So now, where do we go from here? Well, Ura, 4 and 11, he's going to drop, but how far? Let's skip that for now. Let's go with the easier ones. Who's the next one with a winning record? Ichino Joe at 9 and 6, Magashira 2 East. It's hard to not see him. Whoops. It's hard to not see him ending up at Magashira 1 East in the next Basho. Now, this is worth noting. There are occasions in history where more than 2 wrestlers were put at Komusubi or at Sekiwake due to performance. What you tend to see is if there's more than 2 wrestlers at Sekiwake, it's because an Ozeki got demoted and there wasn't a spot for him to take, so they just have a third or something. But sometimes it's just, hey, these guys have been doing too well, we need to have a third Komusubi or something. That's not going to happen here. Ichino Joe, if he had gotten 10 wins at Magashira 2, maybe 11, there'd be a much better chance, but at 9, they'll just push him to Magashira 1. Tamawashi, Onosho, Meisei, losing records. Kirabayama, 10 and 5. That's probably going to put him here at Magashira 1 West. We'll see. Let's go through more. We're not bolding that yet. Endo, 8 and 7. We're not going to put him up. We're just going to, or all the way up. We're just going to move him up 1 rank for the moment. And then Takara Fuji and Ishiura had losing records. We'll skip them for now. Hokuto Fuji, 9 and 6. Let's put a pin in that one. Katonowaka, 11 and 4. Takayasu, 12 and 3, but Katonowaka was a slightly higher rank. They could move these guys up. They'll probably be next to each other, and my guess is they're going to be both Magashira 2. The people who had losing records above 2 were Takanosho and Ura, and they did so badly, they're obviously going to drop way below that. But Endo didn't really do enough to warrant being ahead of these two guys in the next basho. What I think they're going to do is keep Takayasu ahead of Kotonowaka. Or not keep him, but move him ahead of Kotonowaka, because he had the extra win, because they were very close in rank to start with, because he actually was in it to the end, to the playoff, whereas Kotonowaka was fighting kind of for the title, but he fell short a couple days early. After that, there's nobody who has even double-digit wins through the whole of Makuuchi after Takayasu. So let's just stop here and figure out where the people with losing records in the upper Maegashira ranks are going to go, right? Takanosho. Komusubi with 4 wins tend to end up around Maegashira 4 or 5. So he's not likely to take that Maegashira 3 spot. Let's put him in 4 West for the moment. Tamawashi, Maegashira 2, 7, and 8, he'll probably drop to Maegashira 3. Now, if he goes up exactly 1 rank and Endo, or goes down exactly 1 rank and Endo goes up exactly 1 rank, they end up in the same spot. So one of them ends up in East, one of them ends up in West. I'm setting them up in East and West. I'm not really worried about which one goes where. That's a little too detailed for me to feel like I can nail, but I do think they're both going to end up at Maegashira 3. I think because Endo had the winning record, they're going to push him to East. I could be wrong. So who ends up in 4? Well, it's not Takara Fuji or Ishiura, probably Hokuto Fuji. At 9 and 6, he had, at Maegashira 6, he probably goes up to 4 East. Now, he could swap with Tamawashi. That's another thing that could easily happen. Hokuto Fuji at Maegashira 3 West, Tamawashi at Maegashira 4 East, but I don't think that's gonna happen. It's really a 60-40 thing to me. I think they're going to keep Tamawashi at a 1 rank drop because there's really no reason to do otherwise. There's nothing pressing that's like, oh no, we have to move him further down. So who goes at Maegashira 5? Does Ura? Well, that's hard to say. He shouldn't. Maegashira 1, who get 4 wins, tend to drop to around 7 or 8. But 5 isn't completely unheard of. They tend to go lower, though. Who moves up? Tobizaru, Wakamoto Haru. They both had 9 wins at Maegashira 9. For the moment, I'm going to put them both at Maegashira 5, because that makes a fair bit of sense. But does Onisho drop all the way to 6? That's hard to say. So let's look at this. Tobizaru, Wakamoto Haru, Onisho. Do we think this is the order these 3 guys are going to be in? I think it's very likely they're all next to each other, but does it look like this? Tobizaru should stay ahead of Wakamoto Haru. So Wakamoto Haru, if the rest of this is correct, should not end up at 5 East. Tobizaru, well, I think he might. Well, Onisho is considered quite good, and he probably just looks like he had a bad tournament. I think they're going to keep him at 5, at Maegashira 5. So which side? I'm going to move Tobizaru to West, Wakamoto Haru to 6 East, and then Onisho to 5 East. And I'm going to fix that. This is roughly how I think that's going to go. So, all right, let's go to 6. Ishiura is going to drop really far. Takara Fuji was at Maegashira 5. Meisei is going to drop really far. So we've handled most of the top guys, and we've so far ignored the people who had really, really, really terrible records. In fact, let's strike out the ones we've done. I should have thought to do this earlier. We've got all of them handled. We've got them that. They're all sorted. We've got them placed. Where does Ura go? My guess is that he is going to drop to See, Shimano Umi for Maegashira 10 going all the way up to 6 seems like a bit much of a drop. Ura going to 6 west, given that a lot of other people have to drop a little bit further, that kind of makes sense. So let's put Ura there. Takara Fuji, therefore, at 7 east also makes sense. Oka no Umi, Chiyoshima, Sato no Umi, they're all going to have to drop into the double digits. You'd think. So I looked this over beforehand, but I didn't. You're seeing my thought process, seeing in quotes. You're hearing me think this through on a final level. The thing that is really tough to figure out is where all of these guys at the bottom of the Banzuke are going to end up, except for the ones who are going to get demoted. Aqua, cough, cough. These ones, because you look at Aoyama, who had 8 wins at Maegashira 16, but so many guys did so badly that he ended up at Maegashira 10. Those kind of weird jumps can happen. So we're just going to keep placing guys and see how this goes. If we don't have Oka no Umi or Chiyoshima or Sato no Umi at Maegashira 7, all right. Does Shim no Umi get up there? Well, these guys are used. So let's put him there for the moment. Does Kotoeko go up to Maegashira 8 after a 9 and 6 at Maegashira 12? He could. He very well could. Let's try that. Let's see if that makes sense. But where are the other winning records? Does Kota Shoho go to 9 and 6? Go from 9 and 6 at 14 all the way to Maegashira 8 West? Ooh. Let's see how that looks in a couple of minutes. Tochinoshin, they didn't even move him after a 7 and 8. They want him to go up. I don't think he's going to end up at Maegashira 9. I think there's no way, but let's leave him there for the moment. Who are the ones that are going to drop, but only drop a little? Aoyama, let's give him the one rank drop. Miyogiryu, we'll give him the 1 rank drop. Chiyotairyu, the 1 rank drop. Now, interestingly, you see my demotions here. Kageyaki, Kotokuzan, and Aqua, because I think Oho and Azumaru are definitely coming up, and Midori Fuji seems very, very likely to come up as well. What I found incredibly interesting is that Kotokuzan at Maegashira 16 actually has a better chance of staying in this division than Chiyomaru does with 5 wins at Maegashira 13. That is not what I expected at all. For reasons I'll get into when I start dealing with those guys, I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be an exception to the rule. So Kageyaki's going to drop. Yutakiyama, will move him down to 15. And let's see how this looks. We've got Yogiryu, Aoyama, Kotoeko, Chiyotairyu, Shimano Umi, Kota Shoho, Tochinoshin. All of those are used. All right. Terutoyoshi was 11. All right, let's move him up to 10. Where does Meisei go? How far does he drop? Now, he should stay in Maegashira, for sure. From 3, what if we drop him to 14? That's probably reasonable for now. How far do these 3 guys have to go? Let's keep them all next to each other, ish. From 7, 8, and 8, 12, 13, and 14? That's probably fair. Okay. Chionokuni. See, Chionokuni and Chiyomaru are both in the same boat with having 5 wins at Maegashira 13. I think Chionokuni was fighting well enough, and I said this previously, that I don't think he's in any risk of dropping. Even though he's technically lower ranked than Chiyomaru, I think they're going to give him that respect, and they'll maybe put him at the bottom of the division. So we'll put him at 17 for now. I actually don't think he's going to end up that low. Chiyomaru very well might, because he fought like hot garbage. So Aqua, Kodokuzan, and Kageaki, I'm treating them all as gone. The only reason I think Chiyomaru is going to stay, whereas Kodokuzan won't, is that Chiyomaru has been in Maegashira for quite a while. Let's just look him up real quick. Chiyomaru has... So he dropped to Juryo in 2020. So he's been up here for a year, right? No, he's never gotten very high ranked. And maybe that works against him, but Kodokuzan just got here. I have a feeling that they're going to make the new guy go back and prove himself again before they kick out a guy who's been there for a year. They're going to give him a last chance. I could be wrong. I kind of hope I'm wrong. The Kodokuzan story is great. I really enjoy it. Ichi Yamamoto, let's bump him up 1. And then Nishikigi, 9 and 6. He might actually get a pretty good bump because of all the shenanigans going on. So where do these guys go? Here's the problem with this setup. We've got 3 guys, Oho, Azumaru, and Midori Fuji, for 2 spots towards the bottom of the division. And up here, they're not going to go all the way up here. So who do we move? Also, we have to find a spot for Ishiura. So those are the 4 guys we're dealing with right now. Ishiura probably drops. So let's say, but Ishiura versus Meisei, they're probably going to end up in the same ballpark. So let's actually say Meisei gets a bit of a reprieve, ends up at 13. So Ishiura is going to go here. What do we do with the new guys? Well, they're absolutely not going to end up at Maegashira 10. Not a chance in hell. So who do we move? Maybe Ichi Yamamoto goes to 16. Midori Fuji, 12 and 3, Juryo 6, probably going to end up behind these other 2. But Juryo 1, 10 and 5, I could very easily see Oho ending up at 14. That's completely reasonable. I'm also going to fix the font. There we go. Azumaru should end up directly behind Oyo. Oyo? What am I saying? So that would be Maegashira 15. And then we've got 2 Ichi Yamamotos here. Midori Fuji, I don't think he's going to get all the way up to like 15 next to Azumaru, but this is probably a reasonable spot for him. Giving Chiyomaru and Chiyono Kuni those reprieves and putting Midori Fuji above them because of his incredibly good Harubasho seems like it makes sense. Okay, so here we go. This is my prediction for what the Natsu 2022 Banzuke is going to look like. We'll see how I do. I'll probably touch on it briefly when I do the preview for the Basho. But for now, hey, more content. More will come, even though I'm out of town. But for the time being, I am off to have some fun with some friends, and I will see you all next time.